Good afternoon and welcome to the first of 3 webinars in relation to the ever-increasing impact of the coronavirus outbreak and the government's recommendations for people to work from home where possible and to self-isolate. The reason we've put these together is because of the volume of inquiries that we're getting from existing customers concerned they can operate as a business with employees working from home. So we thought we'd try and reach a wider audience with these events. We're going to be live for around 15 minutes, all being well, but we'll be around afterwards to answer any questions you might have. So please feel free to ask as many as you wish. So my name is David Blythe, and I'm the Chief Technical Officer here at BLYHTE. So it's my job to ensure that our customers are both able to work from home, but to be able to do so safely. So over the 3 days that we're hosting these events, we'll be covering 3 core subjects. The first is going to be around remote and agile working, making sure you've got the correct hardware and access and connectivity in place. Tomorrow's will be how we can work collaboratively. We feel this is really important to allow management to still measure the organisation's performance whilst keeping a social and healthy virtual office environment for staff at home. And then thirdly, we'll be talking about securing your business data whilst offering flexible working for staff and making sure that everybody's safe in this horrible time. And as promised, we'll cover the below format, but as I mentioned earlier, anything I've missed here, please ask during the Q&A session at the end. If you aren't leveraging cloud services at the moment, then your users will need to connect to your on-premise infrastructure, and a few things you'll need to consider to ensure that your users can work from home. So where your on-premise servers are located, you need to ensure that they can cope with the increased traffic load from remote working. So all of a sudden you've got a lot of staff working outside the office, and you need to ensure that your infrastructure and connectivity is able to cope. We have seen in the past with clients that do offer a home working scenario that this does have a huge impact on connectivity and infrastructure alike. Also got to make sure that if your users are VPNing in, that the license count is there and available for people to do so, and that it's not limited on numbers. Are you able to access your phone system while remoting in as well, whether this is via a soft phone or a VPN? Many of the cloud-based new phone systems have mobile and desktop applications, meaning that your users can work remotely using traditional methods as well, like phones. Calls can also be made via Teams. That's how we use our phone system here at Jungle. It's a nice integration into the application, which we'll cover a little bit more tomorrow. One thing your IT teams need to ensure is that if you've got any certificates for webmail or VPN, that they're still valid. It might be a while since people have worked from home, and these certificates can quite easily expire and cause problems. So definitely get them to check that to make sure that things are still going to run smoothly while people are working from home. Regarding your staff at home, do they have the devices that they can use? Have they got laptops? Have they got personal devices they can use? Have they got a reliable, uncapped internet connection? If not, do you need to supply a mobile connectivity via a dongle or a hotspot for users? Many users have capped internet connections, so they're not like in the office where unlimited internet connectivity. What if they go home and work for a week and they use all the data that their sort of home plan allows? You've got to take these things into consideration and not just expect that everybody's got uncontended internet access. Home internet is a contended service, so at home you share this with could be up to 20 other homes. If everybody's working from home, this could drastically reduce the connectivity speed of your internet. It may be an idea to create a shift pattern to reduce the pressure on bandwidth, both at home and back in the office as well. So people could work at different times of the day to suit themselves and the business, as long as they're being productive and working still. Other things to consider outside of IT are increased heating and electricity costs for staff working from home for an extended period. You also need to consider the health and safety aspects. So the possibility of providing additional peripherals such as monitors and keyboards to work with a laptop environment to provide a safe working environment. Working off a laptop's okay for a few days potentially, but working for extended periods could be problematic. Providing a safe workstation environment for staff may be essential, depending on how long this horrible pandemic lasts for. So we're seeing a major shortage of laptops nationwide. They're getting increasingly hard to get hold of. They're selling in the thousands. We are still able to get a few, but they are very, very scarce. Plus, as suppliers are sending more of their staff home, the logistics of delivering these is becoming a daily challenge. Staff may have to take up home their desktop PCs and the monitors that they use in the office at the moment. But how would they connect these to their internet connection at home? Their router may be connected, upstairs, and they want to work downstairs on the kitchen table. So you need to consider wireless dongles, or maybe even really long network cables if it becomes essential. It's just all those kind of things that you need to consider when you're looking at sending staff home. Over the last few days, there has been some issues with Microsoft Teams due to the high demand on the services. So 9 o'clock yesterday morning, there was a small outage when the UK and Europe came online. And then again at 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon when America all woke up. Hopefully Microsoft have seen this now and are addressing this. But if you had issues with your on-premise infrastructure, your connectivity in the office or the server infrastructure that people are trying to connect to, this would increase demands on your help desk staff and your IT personnel. We've seen a huge increase here at Jungle in terms of the numbers of calls to the help desk. I think we're triple the number of calls today alone, and the number of requests for getting people to set up from home has increased as well. If users haven't connected at home before to connect in, there may be issues around the network addressing. So their home network mirrors that of the office, which can cause issues at connecting to online services in the office. So there's all these kind of things that we need to think about when sending people home. Only today, every single mobile network in the country was having issues regarding voice calls, text messaging. Hopefully they're getting on top of this. But again, as network providers are sending staff home as well to ensure their safety, it might get worse. Hopefully it will get better. But as more and more people do work remotely, there is that possibility. So with your workforce situated across multiple locations as we send more and more people home, it's key to ensure that they're working collaboratively to ensure efficiency to start with, but then also to feel, to ensure that they don't feel isolated. If they've not heard from somebody for a couple of days, it may feel lonely out there. So we need to make sure that communication is more important than ever as the days and weeks, hopefully not months, go on. So we can utilize existing tools like Teams chat to make sure that we're virtually talking to each other, and email traditionally still, but then also good old phone calls, making sure that you have some kind of rota to check in with people to make sure that they're okay still in their locations, and again, if they do get poorly, that they're still okay to work, and ensuring that communication's still there, just because they're not in the office. We'll cover more of this tomorrow regarding collaborative elements and some options around how remote workers can engage more efficiently with other staff in their organisation, both inside and outside of organisations as well, so you can still talk to your customers to make sure they know you're still kind of operational. So once we're out the other side of the current pandemic as well, that businesses need to ensure that their business continuity plans are robust moving forward. To enhance your plans, we suggest that organisations, if they're not already doing so, is looking at a move to more services in the cloud. These would reduce reliance on on-premise infrastructure. They'll be able to provide a more scalable solution. So Microsoft Azure, for example, can scale from 10 users up to 10 million very easily, and offer enhanced security and reliability of services. So these can include things like Teams for collaboration, so being able to work with team members on documents and projects. Exchange Online for email, so removing the need for any kind of on-premise exchange and email service. Moving servers off on-premise infrastructure into the Azure space from Microsoft, to be able to leverage their huge compute power that they've got. And a good one that we'll be doing some presentations on hopefully shortly will be Windows Virtual Desktop, which offers a really nice slick Windows 10 environment for any kind of worker, especially remote usage, on a kind of any device scenario, even in web browsers and things like that. So that brings us to the end. I think I was probably a little bit quicker than 15 minutes because I was rattling through. Let me just see if we can see if anybody's asked any questions in the panel. Let me see. No, we haven't. Let me just check if I can get Bryony to see if we can do anything. 2 seconds. There we go. Yeah, so there should be a Q&A panel on the right-hand side. So Bryony has just put there if anybody's got any questions to post them. If that's not working, just come through to your normal reps here at Jungle, and they'll be able to feed the questions to myself and our team, and we'll be able to get back to people. We'll leave the event open for a few minutes longer to see if anybody has got any questions. But other than that, everybody stay safe. And we look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow. Thanks for your time, guys. I'll mute my camera, but I'll pop back up if anybody does have any good questions. Cheers.